who had to raise me because my mother was so... Okay. Anyway, they're just letting me know the video's too long at 3333. But anyway, I'll be on the phone. It's my suicide note. I'm not going to be able to download this to YouTube. But anyway, anyhow, Elizabeth Ankrum, she just was my mommy. Love. Neither my daddy, Yudi Horn, or Elizabeth Ankrum ever yelled at me once, always loved me, always showed me non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love, which is agape love, non-judgmental, uplifting, non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. That's my ideal. That's my religion. I'm a piece of shit. I am filled with evil, and I was saying that I've gone back to the dark ages. You know, once I really accepted that I was paranoid, schizophrenic, or, you know, I've been in psych ward so often and whatever. And then I started exploring borderline personality disorder, and I don't think I'm that. I would have been easier because it's kind of damage to an engine from the exterior, and they believe you can kind of semi-heal from that or manage yourself. I don't doubt any of that. The behaviors are somewhat similar between paranoid schizophrenia and borderline personality disorder. They really are. But the issue is that one is firmly believed in the root of genetics, and Jews just seem to get it anyway, and who the hell knows how God sorts all this shit out. But... anyway, I don't know what I was saying, but I've studied it, and as best I can, and I got a lot at stake. And I want you to know, even though I lied to everybody, because there is such a fine line, they would diagnose people that either they thought were in denial, that's my personal opinion, I never asked a psychiatrist, or they would be bipolar with schizoaffective tendencies, which means they're paranoid schizophrenic. But the issue is, I'd go to my psychiatrist and go, hey, I just read about a new medication for 9 fucking years. It was Hunter Patch Adams, Dr. Hunter Patch Adams, who told me when he took me to Russia for 3.5 weeks, and I went into such a psychosis and problems. He came up, he cried with me, he sent a few other doctors up, and he said, listen, I think he called me screwy, drewy, but he said, listen, I prescribe this. A man read a book a day because I'm a doctor. I believe in this medicine. He goes, it is not helping you. It isn't helping you. It's not helping you. And he said, you got to titrate down. I'm off of it. And anyway, the point is, my daughter never wanted me on all that medicine. And I see my teeth, or lack of, there's only 3. My daughter is so fucking intelligent. When I really was downing lithium and anything else, and she said, Daddy, you know, they're going to mess up, and I don't remember, it was either kidney, liver, or thyroid, but one of those she just kept pounding, and 2 out of the 3 I was affected by, and all I'd say, I want my brain, I want to do something, I'm a piece of shit, Rachel, I got to have my brain, who cares what happens to my body? And I believe that. Well, anyway, oh my God, esophagus perforation. 3 major operations. Dr. Shersher, beautiful Russian Jew, who cried in my arms and told me, he put me on suicide watch in Cooper Hospital in Camden. I came home with 3 tubes. My daughter was dying of ovarian cancer, stayed here for a few months. Here, 47 Caselli Drive, Bridgeton, New Jersey, 08302. Bridgeton is the 3rd most dangerous city in America. Wow. Anyway, and the Dalai Lama said that poverty is the breeding ground of violence. Where do they empty out the psychiatric wards to? Always, always, not my backyard, not my backyard, not my backyard, not my backyard. And because we're all little dons and we got to protect and get our guns, yeah, we're good, loving Americans. And even if you just do it between lawyers and you're kind of that upper middle class feel, even if you're middle class and you wouldn't have a gun, well, you have your police department to keep out the riffraff and blah, blah, blah. And if you go up the thing, you got to pay to get into your certain golf clubs or tennis clubs to keep the riffraff out. And it's all about money, 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 money. Whoever decided that the pursuit of happiness has money, like religion has destroyed us as fast as money has, because everybody knows what their God says to do, and it's contrary to what their God says to do, and we got to all die for our gods. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it's just terrible. So anyway, capitalism excludes, that is for sure. And if you want to be seen, don't hang out with the riffraff, be seen with the up crowd. Whatever the hell that is. Fake it till you make it. So, anyhow, 3856. So, the issue is, I don't know where I was going. Well, I'm going to go where I was going to go. And an open rebuke is better than a secret love. And I want to say this up front, because I'm going to name names right now. And I don't give a shit. But just so you don't think I'm feignedly humble, let me just tell you a few things I knew by age 46. Now, I destroyed Turn a Frown Around because I wanted to be famous. I wanted to say fuck you to so many people, and Natalie Wood always said, that's the way to do it. So I said, you know what? Yeah, that's it. So I'm so fucking impure, it's disgusting. Plus, I'm complete. You're as sick as your deepest secret. Every human being that just heard me should go, wow, there's some wisdom. I learned that in a psychiatric ward, and it took me over 30 years before I started listening to it, and I've heard it on and off, of course. So anyway, the point is that, I'm a liar, but I don't feel guilty about that anymore. I'm such a fuck up, weird individual. No one let me in. I never really had friends. I didn't want friends. I had kind of friends. I tell them in my older age that my jailers are my best friends. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm paranoid schizophrenic. I don't think I'm borderline personality. I am demon possessed. So if you want to give the Kabbalah, which is the mystic side of Judaism, a tip of the hat, and those that are really zealot, I'm not as much talking about the ones that all you pseudo-intellectual bullshit artists, and most of them, many are just poor anyway. And what the hell are you picking on these people with your pseudo-intellectualism? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the theological, Catholicism that dealt with darkness, meaning spiritual, and definitely those in the Protestant that really and for some reason I can't bring Islam is just filled with all of that as well. And what I'm telling you is, to sum it up, you just pick up the New Testament, and you can go to one of the letters of St. Paul. It's called Ephesians. There's only 6 chapters, and 6 plus 6 equals 12. And I am Ephesians 6:12. That's it. Because there is a God who created all this. I don't know. I'm a fatalist to the max. If I lived, I would just do a character. Excuse me, I got to fart. That would be ecumenical man. And the worst place to be is in the middle of a battlefield. And I believe God created everything. I believe God is cruel, horribly cruel. I'm just making this tape. I'm going to face God. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Like, we think Martians, and think about it. Who created what? Who created what? Who created what? Who created what? How far down? But my theology by 61 was the Truman Show, that movie, but not with all the happiness, and you can break out and you got free will. I believe God just puts it all in, and we think so, but we're all designed, we're all animated. And the worst thing about God, and I curse God for many years now, but I got to face God, because God is the potter, and I'm not saying that with humility, but I don't know why I am the way I am. But God created Esau he hated. God created, he'd always create like really bad kings, and Israel was fucking up. So he'd tell these kings, go beat Israel's ass. Then he'd get another bad king to kick that king's ass for doing Israel. Like, God is just, and that's just Judaism. It goes on all the time. There isn't a religion that ultimately have to look at a parishioner and go, faith is a mystery, but so is atheism. And the point is, I believe that there's too many frequencies I've lived in, and there's more. The scientists that absolutely know this is true today, it ain't true tomorrow, and the issue is that God just illuminates. He gives a little light here, light there, then a lot of light with the industrial age, or before that the Renaissance, and then the technical age. But God just is fucking around. God's fucking around. We're all created. Do you know where you were before you were born? Come on, get real. Don't tell me. Don't be Pollyanna cracker. Meaning, don't regurgitate what your mother's mother told you, or father's father, or your religion. Do you know where you were before you were born in that frequency? No. Do you know where you're going to go when you die? Stop it. Stop it. Well, the Quran says this. Well, okay. The Torah says this. Fine. The New Testament says this. Good. The Hindu script says, shut up. Do you really know? Like, you'd go to McDonald's 6 times a year to visit an old friend or something like that, and you go there, and it's its own special experience. Have you go to the afterlife, not in cosmic, not in dreams, not in hocus pocus? Do you go there and then come back? Go there. No. You have no fucking clue. Yeah, you're going to die. Coronavirus, you're reading all the things. This one died, that one died, this one died, that one died. Die. Everyone is dying. Ah! So, you're going to die. I'm going to die. And we don't know where the fuck we're going. But I'm going to meet God. And ultimately, God is the potter and we're the clay. You can't fuck with that. You didn't make God. Now, you think it's just religion is different. But even there, I believe God is the Tower of Babel to the ultimate. That God created all this conflict. God wants conflict. Jesus even said, the poor shall be with you, and in the world you shall have tribulation. Really, double fuck you. And I wish I could be like Jesus. Believe me, that Sermon on the Mount, and do you ever read the teachings of Muhammad? You just put them together. I bet you could put those two together and come up with the most beautiful musical play that would be hopeful, at least, like Godspell was done on the book of Matthew. But Muhammad and Jesus. It's easy to throw in the Hindu gurus because they're so attuned to that. And I don't mean to keep Judaism out. We should really, there are so many scriptures. You know, God used to judge the Israelites 2 things, idols, and do you know how God knew you had idols? You weren't taking care of the poor and the downtrodden. Wow, sounds like the Good Samaritan to me. Or when they asked Jesus, well, what are the commandments? 2, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Well, how do you do that? Love your neighbor as yourself. Read the Good Samaritan, Luke chapter 10, Matthew 25, Matthew 5 through 7. Read the teachings of Muhammad. Just Google them. Just Google. Just the absolute specific words. You know, in a sense, they all were teachings of compassion on Muhammad. Just Google that. And get a concordance and see how many times in the Torah and the Haftorah God is pissed at Israel because they got selfish and greedy. The golden calf. I want. The only way the world will ever work is after you. No. After you. Oh, no, I insist. After you. No. You first. And that's the golden rule. That's putting others before yourself. That is the teaching of agape love. That is what Judaism teaches is going to get you in into right relationship with God and be a practicing Jew. A Catholicism would also say to be a practicing Catholicism, but do the Sermon on the Mount. A Protestant would say the same. A Hindu would also be, you live, it just depends on who your guru is, but you're always doing acts of kindness. You know, random acts of kindness, that's Hinduism, guys, and many Eastern philosophies. Hare Krishna. Anyway, do we need to keep going? Listen, as a Jew, all I knew is that every holiday, and we celebrated them all, there was an element of giving, not getting, giving. Like the synagogue I grew up in, you were responsible to be giving. It wasn't like, oh, God, we're going to get our whatever. No. Giving, and more giving. And my father was the living, breathing example, and Elizabeth Ankrum the same. I also have a few more heavy hitters. My daughter was just like that. Dr. Gregory Irvin, who co-founded the Turn of Frown Around, he was my pro bono therapist. He risked his license. That man was whatever. He was just beyond. I tell people the maternal gene comes in men and women. It came in Dr. Gregory and my daddy, and it came in Elizabeth and my daughter. It just did. I don't know why. I hear something. I guess it was outside. I'm waiting for this to phone because my storage is going to go, what, are you fucking kidding me? All right, an open rebuke is better than a secret love. Now, I have had 3 ways. I was thinking, I don't want to go through that history. It's been months and months and months. But there were 2 ways I was absolutely going to attempt suicide again, and I don't want to fuck this up. I just don't. I visited too many wards of the state. No, I don't have a contact person. I have no one that's stronger than me, like Stephen Hawkins, and go, listen, we believe in what you have done, more importantly, what you want to do, and that, just get back to that. You do a search and rescue of every institution of isolation. Call Meals on Wheels National to find out all the Eleanor Rigbys. So you find out, and it's a simple thing, it's all anonymous, and there's no legalities, there's no board set up. But you start this most amazing podcast, and all I want to say is that third podcast, you have no idea. There are absolutely 2 rules in America, and you first Americans are just so evil. If you'd all do Mother Teresa, and maybe a third of you would die if you lived in all the horrible sections and just stayed there and became and understood and then figured out we can't let this be anymore. But no one's going to do that. No one has that kind of radical love. But that's all you need to do. I'm telling you, a third of Americans need to go where the third of Americans are and live with them. Live with them in their group homes. Live with them. And all these people are willing to go and kill people and the enemy and protect America's whatever, or maybe get something we can use in the future. Wow, like you're going to die anyway. I honor, with my heart, soul, mind, and strength, firefighters. 9/11 firefighters, but all firefighters. Every day in a typical middle-class American home, they kiss their husband or wife or their partner and go, I love you. And when they say that, they know they might be dead. And they're not carrying guns. They're just going in to protect. Wow, they spend their whole life knowing could be their death. Wow. Imagine if we all just adopted that because you're going to die anyway. Anyway, you do a search and rescue. You find the POWs. I call them prisoners of wars. And there's zillions of them that don't even have anybody. And so many have, but the families aren't interested. And remember, God's really demented because a lot of families are very demented. I don't know how God allows really fucked up adults to have fucked up children. And my daughter did not benefit from me being her father anywhere as much she would have if I was just somewhat a normal human being, really. Really, if I would have taken the essence of my dad and been normal, my daughter would have had a much easier fucking life. So anyway, anyhow, the point is, I don't know what God's doing. It's just so bizarre. So the issue is you do search and rescues of all the institutions of isolation, and then you start a podcast. And maybe mine would be more intricate, more involved, more opinionated. You start a podcast, have fun. Get some of the heavy hitters. I'll name them for you right off the bat. I'd love to see them. I don't care how they do it. But, and you got to include Fox News in this. That's not my, I'm Bernie Sanders. Did I show you Bernie up there with the tissue box? And Elizabeth Warren, I'd wanted them to be co-presidents. And I love Joe Biden, so believe me, I'm with Joe 101%. But I'm that radical. But you got to get Fox News involved with this as much as CNN. The issue is, if there's a fire, you're not going to sit around if your loved ones are in that fire and you're in it. And there's 3 people you fucking hate in the world, whether it's a nationality or religion, you just hate them. And they're showing up on the volunteer fire department to put the fire out. Unless you're really crazed, you're not gonna care. You don't care who's putting out the fire. Can you put out the fire? So the fact is, no one deserves to die alone. No one. If God forgave King David for all the shit he did with Bathsheba and murdering and conniving, and he's still a man after God's own heart, a human after God's own heart. Come on, Saul to Paul. Do we need to go any further? So God chooses the base things of the world to confound the wise. It's all human material to do, uses very ordinary material to do very extraordinary things and to show the divinity, the touch of divinity in spite of all the effort of humanity's repetition. There's something that's got to be, whoa! So anyway, the point is, I hope I don't forget, is that you have this podcast, and it's fun, it's entertaining, no money, no likes. Stop all this bullshit. Don't start pep talks and don't start subcommittees. Don't start boards. Don't get a 501. Anything you really do need, make sure it's fucking volunteered. And the point is, who could do the podcast? I started with the news stations immediately because they're the most respected as much as they're disrespected, meaning Fox News and CNN should start this thing, and they should collaborate and start their own station. That's fire department to eradicate, to put out the fires of loneliness. And what you do is you just have this thing. Now, what do you bring on this TV show, this podcast that everybody's YouTubing and copying? You bring on all the amazing people. That's why I brought up the Jerry Lewis telethon. But no one wants money. Every 4 minutes, you let, and if you want affiliates, you can go all the way down. And there's a local nursing home in Babadoo, and there's a group home for psychiatric patients in City Gakadee. And there's an abused women's center in and it goes on and on and on. These people have nobody. They die alone. So, the person is listening, and it's fun, and whoever you have on, and, but every 4 minutes, remember, call this number or push this, whatever you got to do. And what comes on is, and somebody is donated, some brainy university gets a grant, and they create an app, and the app is capable, and maybe multiple apps, I don't know how apps are done, but it knows every nursing home in America. It knows, and I'm sorry that, listen, I hope this becomes an international thing, but I know what America is, and it's based on greed, power, and fame and selfishness. So, man, this place, the backside of the Statue of Liberty says America is great. It does say that, Donald Trump. It does. Now I'm picking on you. For 15 years, I wanted to be rich and greedy and be that Don. And I'm in the money. See, I got prestige. I'm in the money. I can prove something because I got more money than you. So I'm a piece of shit. But nevertheless, America is great because America is good. America will cease to be great when America ceases to be good. Goodness is about goodness, the Good Samaritan, kindness, proactive love, noticing, Matthew 25. When did we see you? When people are just looking. Looks like you got enough to eat? Hey, man, you got a place to stay? You're not waiting for somebody to have to put their hat in their hand and feel like shit. You're going, hey, man, come on, I've had bad times too. God, stay right, be back. You doing that in America? Oh, no. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. The best, I don't know what that word is, adjusted kids have come from larger families that I have found that were basically middle class, and the parents were radical. They brought in homeless people, and they explained to their kids, we might be dead. And I don't want you to think I love you any less, but some of you are going to go to war, you're going to, listen, we have to be our brothers and sisters' keeper. And when kids get that, and they realize that's the highest calling, no matter what religion, they're the most adjusted. because they realize love's got to figure in. You don't filter law through love. America's based on law. They create laws to contradict the laws and contradict the laws. Then we'll put in Republican kind of slanted judges. No, we'll put in Democrat. So what? Blind justice, Solomon, love. We must split the baby in half. No. Love. You filter law through love, not love through law. What the fuck, Osama? So America's great because America's good, the French said when they sent that on the Statue of Liberty. It will cease to be great when it ceases to be good. So we all need goodness. So now it's going on 58. I hope this comes out. So the issue is that's what you do. And then the app. So what do? There's an app for every, nursing home, psych wards, jails. And you can get around the HIPAA laws, believe me. Don't get proactive. If there's a POW and you love them, you're going to go into war zones to save somebody. Saving Private Ryan. Come on! You want to be that fucking lonely person dying alone who's a ward of the state? Yeah! Well, I just visited too many of them. My daughter said I went totally, really over the edge when I came back from Russia because I just saw too much pain, too much incorrectable, hopeless pain, too much incorrectable, no curable, no solution thinking. These people were dying alone. They were understaffed. It was terrible. I ain't picking on Russia. It was the poverty of the areas they were in. Anyway, so you do a search and rescue, and they see this fun app, they program, and they push the thing, and they get the app, and they decide, you know what, I want to go visit a grandma. And this is all they decide, within their own heart. They make a little vow to themselves. So they know, and there's a contact person for every place, a contact person from the place. And from my experience, I'm only talking nursing home and psychiatric facilities. There were 25% that didn't like us because they were not about compassion, and we were a problem to them because we didn't charge. We didn't charge, and our whole thing was to do this. But I'm telling you now, 50% of all the activities directors involved in psychiatric or geriatrics thought we were the greatest thing.